Um, in Iraq, 2008, I had just got promoted to Sergeant First Class. Prior to deployment, I had been in the same unit for years, so I knew the majority of the soldiers in the unit. I had a female soldier who I knew her from the time she was a private. She had just made sergeant, and we did a random health and welfare inspection. When we initially knocked on the door, on the door to the CHU, and she answered the door, I asked her, I said, you all right? Because I looked at her and she didn't look right. So initially she was like, Roger, Sergeant. I was E7, Sergeant First Class. Roger, Sergeant Craft, I'm good. I was like, okay. I said, well, we're doing the health and welfare. And she was like, oh, excuse me, but she was like, oh, crap. Oh. I was like, okay, well, I had my battle buddy, Staff Sergeant Dunham, Sergeant First Class Dunham with me. We were doing two-man teams. We entered her room. There was another NCO, male NCO in her room that wasn't her husband. It was like 2 a.m. So number one, he shouldn't have been in her room. Number two, as she walked and she appeared intoxicated. And I was just like, are y'all serious? I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you serious? And she said, well. I said, and I asked her, I said, have you been drinking? She's like, yeah. She said, am I gonna get in trouble? She says, I have a bottle. And she told me where the bottle of alcohol was. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, you really must be drunk, you know what I mean? To even tell me this. And I'm assuming that she thought because we were friends that it was gonna be okay. However, I looked at her and I told her, I said, sorry, you are wrong. And you know you're wrong. She said, Roger, sir, I know I am, but it is what it is. Found a brand new sergeant that I knew, forever, who had recently married. Her husband was on the road at the time. He was out the gate, out the wire, and she had a male in her room. And now on top of that, she had been drinking. And here I am with a soldier or a NCO her and her husband were both my friends. So it's like, for me, it was a very much of a moral dilemma. What do I do? Because I could have easily said, hey, you need to lay down, go to bed, get this guy out your room, and left it alone. I felt the need to do the right thing for several reasons. Because number one, it was wrong. It was against the law to be drinking in Iraq. Adultery, I couldn't say that they were doing anything, but the perception of it was wrong, as well as here's a brand new sergeant, a brand new leader who has broken so many rules and regulations. What do I do? I had my battle buddy go and get the first sergeant. At the time, the first sergeant came, confiscated the alcohol, confiscated everything else that she had, because not only was the alcohol, but she also had drugs. When this is while deployed, so it was really a problem for me, because initially, I was always taught coming up as a leader that you have to make the right choices when it comes to what's right and what's wrong. And one interesting thing I heard was they need to choose the hard right over the easy wrong, which in turn I don't really agree with. I believe that if you have to make a decision whether to choose the hard right, then you're already wrong. So for me, it wasn't so much a decision-making process as much as it is I know what the right thing is. If I were to choose the wrong thing, then I'm failing not my friend, because at the end of the day, you have to say what's more important to you. What are your values? So my thoughts were, you as a young sergeant, how can I trust you to take care of my soldiers and take them outside the wire if you're not right? She wound up getting UCMJ punishment and reduced in rank, which also led to her and her husband getting a divorce and the whole nine. At the end of it all, the husband, he thanked me, not for, not so much, as he said back then, not so much for letting him know that his wife was cheating on him as much as it was for just holding the standard. Because like he said, for most NCOs would have thought they was taking care of the soldier when it's more important to take care of our Army, especially during deployment.